Welcome to the Intoxicated Podcast, a weekly comedy talk show that dives into the personal lives of comedians, experts, and creators. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, a very amateur stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed sad girl. It's the comedy podcast with a lot of heart. Feel hard and talk hard. This is the Intoxicated Podcast.
I've been married for 13 years. I'm not doing it. It's not happening. You're like with boyfriends only. Get married. Never do it again.
Mm-hmm. I think that's marriage, though. That's like, I got you, you got me, but this is my fucking boundary. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Disgusting.
13 years married. How old are you?
41.
41?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
See, there's your assumption.
I actually thought, like, I would have put you around my age. Like, I'm 35.
Yeah, I try and be younger.
But, like, no, that's so...
James thought I was, like, younger than my husband, but he's younger than me. Like, James thought I was, like, late 20s. I was like, go on.
Tell me more, please, how young I am. Yeah, no, you look great, obviously. Like, not that, like, you have to look great at 41. Who gives a shit?
I haven't had children, though, so I haven't had the life taken out of me.
Literally.
Yeah. They're like that thing in The Princess Bride, like that machine of pain. Like, it's like, we suck for so many years off your life.
You know, are you someone who wants kids or never wanted them?
God, no.
You've never wanted them?
No.
See, I never used to want them, but now I do, and I don't know what's going on with that. I think it might be an emotion.
Hormones. You ignore those.
That's why I'm trying to write a whole chunk about it, like how it's like that Christina Aguilera lyric, like my body's saying let's go, but my heart is saying no. Like my body wants it, but like in my head, I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense for me to have kids at all. I can't afford it.
Your body doesn't want it. They chew your nipples to pieces.
Why would I would do formula. I would be like, bitch, I'm having you, but you're getting formula. Like,
and you're also never sleeping again. So say goodbye to all that.
But you know what? I don't sleep anyway. So my thing is,
you want to make it worse. And this is your way of saying it's okay.
My thing is, I think it's like tied to whatever like self-growth journey I'm on right now of like, I'm finding that I don't have a lot of emotional supports in my life. Like I'm medicated for like...
So you want a baby as your emotional support baby.
I want to create the connection that I want.
That's not their job.
Right? It's a fucked up reason to have a kid.
Dogs are great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I might get a dog at some point. A small one, not a big one. I'm definitely more of a cat person, but... yeah, I tied wanting a kid to like, I'm not close with my family. So I think it's that thing of like, I want to just create the family that like I never had. And I'm like, that's so goddamn selfish.
Yeah, you don't want to start off with your parenting decisions with the first one being like completely selfish. Like, right? Like many of them will be, but maybe not the first one.
Right? But there is something too. I have a friend who kind of triggered this in me. She had a kid through sperm donor on her own, single woman. But she was someone who was like you look at her and you're like, that fucking makes sense that you have a kid. She grew up around kids. She has a big family. She's great with them. And she looks blissfully happy with this kid. And I think I saw that and I was like, maybe I could be a mom. Like I could do podcasting and like have a kid. And then I was like, oh, the cost. And it's a lot of money that I can't spend on myself.
The trouble also is that they will make friends.
Yeah.
What if
ideally,
they make friends
right?
with the asshole kid? And then the asshole kid is at your house all the time. These are my concerns.
Only child, though. Maybe they'd be a loner.
You could groom them to be a loner.
Groom them?
Is that bad terminology?
Out of context quote. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So the levels are good.
Our levels are fantastic. I adore you. I'm so excited for this. Let's just get into it. We're going to get into it here. I'm wildly stoked for this. This has been a long time in the making.
Do other people vape while they do this? Or no?
People have smoked joints, so go nuts.
Okay,
do it, yeah. This has been a long time in the making. I've wanted to have you on this podcast for a while.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And you are here. I'm here with a very special guest from PEI, very hilarious comedian, Katherine Cairns.
Sarah McClellan.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Crowd's going wild. Air horn. Put an air horn sound effect in here.
I'm not going to do a sound effect because I'm a girl and I know I can't do sound effects, so I'm not going to try.
I'll put it in for you. How about that? I'm going to put in like a crowd cheering.
I like that.
Too, because you deserve it, because I adore you. Like, I mean, when did we meet? We only had met in person. Was it the Hell's Basement show?
The last show at the basement.
Which was in October.
Yeah.
But we're like Facebook friends or whatever. Like the thing is with comedy, and for anyone like listening who's like maybe not a comedian, like we all kind of know each other.
Yeah.
Aren't like, especially maritime comedy. I feel like there's names that come up that I'm like, oh, I know that person, but I've never met them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
But
so many people.
Like Facebook friends. Cause like usually when you add someone on Facebook, if I see that it's like all mutual friends are like comics, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, we'll be Facebook friends. But like, I might not ever meet that person, which is so weird. It's this weird like instant community effect when you're comics in the Maritimes together.
Yeah, and then like I've met so many people that I've only seen the names of online since I've been here, but they're all running together as like random white dude, and I can't tell them apart. And I'm really worried that I'm going to call a Scott a Peter, and I'm going to call a Peter John. Is there even a John? I don't know.
They're all pretty much the same anyway, you know.
Yeah,
it makes. I'm sure that they'll be fine. They'll be fine. We don't care about them. Joking. I love
it's
you
like
guys.
white comic racism. I can't tell any of you apart. You all look the same to me.
You all look the same.
You have like way too much shit in your pockets.
Luckily enough,
you don't need.
I find the dudes here in this scene, at the very least, their comedic styles are a bit different. So that's kind of a good thing.
So I'm going to need them to do their sets every time they see me, just so
a tight 3.
I'm the one who does the joke about the cat. Right, cat guy.
That's right. So, Katherine, you are here. So you've been down from PEI. You've done a bunch of shows. You just did Yucks. You're on your Yucks weekend.
It's so exciting.
And I want to, like, you posted such a nice post about doing it and how much it meant to you. So talk about that. So what was it like finally going on the stage with the Yucks sign behind you?
It's crazy. I never thought that would be me. I used to bust tables for a very, very short amount of time in Hamilton for Yucks, like ages ago, years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always wanted to be the comedian. And then all of a sudden I was the comedian.
Isn't that wild?
It's so cool. It's such a nice space too. And like that, you have to go like through that tiny door to get on the stage.
Right? the green room. And then like you go out and it's like really bright too. And was it sold out last night? Or close to?
I'm not
pretty packed.
Sure. Compared to anything I usually perform to on Prince Edward Island, it was packed.
It was packed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. It is weird. Like I think for a lot of like fans of comedy, especially like here in Canada, it's like Yucks is the club, right? Like,
yeah. It's the name.
It's the name. And it is such a big deal. Like, yeah, I felt the same way when I did my first show at Yucks. Same thing. It was just like, this is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, starstruck, and then like pacing backstage, like completely in my head, going like what Shannon wrote at the bottom of all the set lists for the basement. Have fun, don't suck.
I love that. Yes, have
don't
fun,
suck, don't suck.
Have fun. I think that's an important thing because, like especially like on a show like Yucks, it's like it's your chance to shine, but also it's a chance. So why not have fun with it? Like, why would you want to ruin that chance by being in your head and not enjoying the moment? And I found, so like I'm just very bad at being in my head. That's my big challenge. And you said something when you came in that like you were actually yourself when you did your set, which is...
It's crazy to be able to do that. It's been 3 years and the first couple of sets I did when I was here, I was telling jokes to make people laugh, which arguably is the point, but I wasn't telling the jokes I wanted to tell. They're not really completely my voice, and it just felt like pandering. Felt
not authentic.
Yeah. So I thought like, well, if I'm going to get, good reaction anyway. Like, why don't I just tell the things that I want to tell and just be myself?
And it's going to be
more fun.
You're going to come off so much better when you do that because they're the jokes you enjoy doing.
Plus, you're when you're comfortable, the audience can tell, and then they feel taken care of, I think.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, but when they feel uncomfortable, like they don't want to laugh. So you have to be completely comfortable with yourself.
And that just goes to show you got to lean into the things that you like. So, you know, like we were talking earlier about like being dirty, and the times that I've bombed being dirty were the times that I wasn't leaning into it and I was not confident in the joke delivery. But if you even tell a dirty joke and you truly lean into it and just give it all you got, it's probably going to come off so much better because they're like, oh, okay, she's good.
Yeah, she was confident telling it. This
She's
is the way
good.
she wanted to say it.
Yeah, like I had a joke for a bit about cream pies.
I'm guessing you don't mean the dessert.
No, not
This is not like a baking joke.
And I had so many people be like, you need to lean into that and like really describe it for people. Like to really go, because you can't go there and then not go all the way. You can't throw a concept like that out.
Well, a cream pie is a very all the way kind of thing anyways. So,
right?
Just saying.
Right. You have to give that mental image. I mean, granted, I only do that joke at like certain shows, like pride shows, like any type of show with like other dirty comics. It does great. But like, on a yuck yuck stage, oh, she's hard to do. So
it's Prince Edward Island can be the same way. Like they're prudish, some of the audiences. I can say that because they're not going to listen to this podcast. Those prudish audience
they're not
members.
cool enough.
No, they're not.
That's why.
They will come to a show and they will sit and they will pay money and then they will just sit and stare at you.
That's the like. Why would you go and pay money for something and then not at least interact or show any facial expression of enjoyment?
They look like they're pained.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Maybe that's how they get off though. Like, is that like their social S&M kind of thing? Like they're like, hurt me with the things I don't find are funny. Like,
so is this true? So the audiences there are very conservative in PI.
Definitely in Charlottetown, without question. Tignish, like when you get out further out west, they know how to laugh so well. Like I have so much fun out there. That's one of the best audiences I've ever, like they don't take themselves seriously, or like Alberton, like when you get out there.
Okay, like smaller towns?
Yeah, and it's not all the smaller towns either, because Summerside is, I'm sorry if someone's from Summerside and loves Summerside, but it's like committing Summerside. It's awful to do shows there.
Summerside.
Like if people come from outside of Summerside to the theater and they're not from Summerside proper, it's fine. But like,
it's suicide, but sunny.
Yeah. I decided I wanted to move to PEI when I was in Summerside. I was crying about how much I wanted to stay on the island. So like if that isn't proof of how much I like that place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's wild. I've never done comedy in PEI. I mean, I would love to at some point. I am nervous about doing it. By the way, I say in PEI and I know that that's wrong. I'm supposed to say on PEI, right?
I would think it's on PEI unless you're referring to the Middle Earth people that live within the island and collect pogie. They come above ground for the tourist season, get the hours, and then they go back to the caves.
I always say in, and it's just a natural thing with my language that I don't know why I can't just change it to on.
At least you remember the place exists.
I have great memories in PEI. My first period, I think, was on a... I'm pretty sure, actually, it wasn't during, but I had gotten my period, and it was within a week of a school field trip to the not Magic Valley, whatever the water park is there.
I don't know, because I moved when I was an adult.
Oh, well, you could go as an adult. It's just, it's a little weird, but I think it would still be fun, actually. It's either Magic Valley or Rainbow Valley.
Magic Rainbow Valley.
Magic Rainbow Valley.
Is what it is now.
Combine them. And I remember my mom being like, well, you can't go on the school trip if you're on your period. Like literally that's what she said. I had gotten my period in.
Well, that's true.
In gym class.
Did you have tampons yet?
My mom never taught me about tampons.
Okay, because according to the commercials, without those things, you actually can't do things. Like, but with them, you can go horseback riding. You can go swimming in the ocean. I'm assuming water parks.
Right. But like my mom is older too. So she would have, well, I mean, she had me at 42. So like when I had gotten my period, it was like, here's some pads and a book about stuff and a stick of deodorant, and there you go.
Yeah, I had an older mom too,
baby bird.
And like when she gave me the supplies, like I think she gave me an adult diaper, and I was like, you know, like technology has progressed, Bonnie. You know, like I swear
There's
to God,
more
like
options.
it had like the loops in it for the belt thing that they used to wear to keep it up, and I was like TV has shown you like there are things with wings now. Why are you doing this to me? I have to go to school.
Right? Well, now, like in the day and age now, free bleeding is just encouraged. You can
what?
You can just free bleed.
Ew, no.
That's a thing people do. They just use nothing. Or you could use.
Now I sound old.
Right?
Yeah.
Now or you could also use, they have period underwear, like legit underwear that soak things up. I would try that, I think. I would be willing to try that, but it would only be like if I was like having a very chill weekend at home by myself. Like not if I was going out anywhere. That's very strange to me.
I'd want to try them
sitting
out
in
first.
your blood.
Like wet my pants first before I got try them like with my period. Just to like
You haven't done that already?
Not with those underwear on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Just to
you're
test
right.
them. Yeah.
You're right. I actually, I've been known to, I lose control sometimes when I laugh really hard.
Every time I get home after the bar, because I have like a 35-minute drive home. So if I've had like 2 beer when I'm out at an open mic and I'm driving home, like I come in the door going, don't pee your pants, don't pee your pants, don't pee your pants, don't pee your pants.
But how nice would it be to like be like, oh, well, if I do, cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe I should try this out. I'm learning things.
And now
today.
they are marketing it as like, they're like, you can bleed in it and pee in it.
We've lost every male listener. They're gone. They were gone minutes ago. They're not coming back.
But I just think I also just go to like, how perfect for concerts.
That would be great. Because you have to stand in line for the bathroom.
So, or like, and you could like literally like just stay in your spot and not have to leave your spot.
And then creepy guys, they're not even going to bother because you're going to smell. So they're going to leave you alone.
Right. That's my thing too. I'm like, does it smell? Like I have so many questions.
Probably.
Listeners listening, if you are someone who's used period underwear, write me and let me know what your experience was. Cause I'm curious, I'm fascinated. Cause I'm still very much a tampon girl. I know they're not good for you, whatever, the bleach, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they're just what I use, you know? So, but yeah, first period PI.
That's how we got here. I was like, how did we get here?
Sometimes I have to stop myself and remember to. But you're from PI. Did you grow up where are you from initially?
Ontario.
Where in Ontario?
I grew up in Mississauga.
Oh, okay.
City next to Toronto with nothing to do.
It's close to Toronto though, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, it's right next to it. It has, at least when I lived there, terrible public transportation. Nothing to do except to go from mall to mall to mall and go shopping. Eat at restaurants. There's like no amenities, like attractions, things to do.
Oh,
really.
I see what you mean. It's just very like bare bones. Like you get
boring.
what you need, but there's no culture, so to speak.
Exactly.
Really. Yeah.
Exactly.
No like arts, singing or anything.
Yeah, and they like to think that they do, but they did. Well, maybe they do now, but like they did not.
They did not when you. And so you lived there for how long? Most of your life?
God, we moved to the. I'm bad with numbers and stuff. We moved to the island probably about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
6 years ago, because it was just after we got married, and it'll be our 6-year marriage anniversary in like a few weeks.
Oh my God! Congratulations!
And thank you. He's still alive. That's just because our property only has one well though right now, because like if Stephen King has taught me nothing, it's that the husband or the spouse may die when you have the second well, because then you have a place for the body.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I don't have to Google that shit. I've said it on a podcast now, but like the police aren't going to go back and find
Probably not.
this
Hopefully not.
shit.
You never know. That's the thing about podcasts. You put it out and you're like, I don't really know who's ever going to hear this. It's a weird legacy thing.
And my husband he's sick of my jokes, and that's fair. So like the chances of him listening to this, not great.
What's his name?
Jay.
Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I knew that. Yeah, I saw a photo. So that's amazing. How long have you been with him? Like total? Like when?
13 years.
13 years? Wow.
We met at roller derby.
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, was he in the roller derby too?
Yeah, he was the head ref for Toronto Roller Derby. His name was Sir Ref Salat. And then later he changed it to Quadney Dangerfield.
Stop it.
I know.
That's how you met? So he saw you
I came
roller
to
skating?
Yeah, I just came to see one of his games because I played for Hamilton because I moved all over Ontario at that point. But yeah, I went to see one of his games and found out that he wasn't dating anyone there, so no one was gonna like want to like hit me with the truck of their skate upside my head if I flirted with him. So
that's nice to know.
Yeah.
And so was it like a situation where you were like eyeing him from afar and then you were like, I want to get in there? Like something drew you to him?
It was just during the 2-week period where I decided I'm not looking for anyone anymore. I'm happy with myself and I don't care.
I goddamn wish this was not the fucking case. Every goddamn time I hear an origin story, this is what it is.
That's because that's what it is.
I want to hear the woman who's like, yeah, I wanted a man and I went and found one. Like, I really want to hear that. What it was. I think it's just because like, I'm just... I'm trying to go about not wanting it for the sake of getting it, and I know that's not the right way to do it, Catherine.
That's like a comedian pretending to be confident so that they look confident.
Exactly, right? It's fucking roundabout way.
Almost worse.
So literally, you were, but in the moment, you did want to pursue.
I just wanted to check and make sure that there was no one there who was with him, because in roller derby, if someone was with him and I was talking to him in a way that could have looked like it was flirty because I was being friendly, they might have wanted to hurt me.
It would get violent.
Yeah. So it was more intriguing when I was like, oh, you're not with anyone? That's strange. Usually everyone is with someone here.
Right.
Or multiple people.
And you made a move? First move?
No, I just said we should hang out and have a joint.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So a truly organic meeting. That is wild.
Yeah, and then things got more complicated. His friends hated me.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're jerks. I almost went with the hard C word. But it might be a bit early in the day. I said it was too early for alcohol, so...
We can ease into the C word. I mean, that is a word that, like, I mean, you only say that if you fucking really mean it, you know?
I do, though.
Yeah. But I get it, though. Like, did they eventually come around to you, or what happened there?
No, they didn't. I think it's because they liked using Jay for his car and for all the things that he did. And so when we got together, I was like, we can go out if you want to go out with him tonight, but also you look kind of tired after work. So if you don't want to go, like, you don't have to go. So like I gave him options.
Oh, how dare you?
Yeah.
Right?
So, you know how some people use their friends really badly.
So you just... Okay, I see then. So
Yeah.
they couldn't use him as much anymore when you started coming around. And they didn't like that.
Pretty much.
That's fucking
Because he's a
lame.
really generous and giving guy. He's so nice. And like when he's your friend, he really goes out of his way. So I can see not wanting to lose that, but you got to give something back to somebody who does that.
Right. Yeah, fucking fair. That's amazing. So 13 years together, almost 6 years married.
Very slow mover.
And you're... do you enjoy settling down in PEI? On PEI?
Yeah, we don't have a basement, I guess, so we don't really also reside in the island. That's the difference, is people who have basement money.
Basement money.
I like a lot of things about it. I definitely wouldn't want to go back to Ontario because it's such a rat race. Like everybody's chasing success, but I'm not sure they're all quite sure why they are.
It's kind of like a weird LA kind of complex a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they're so busy all the time. So yeah, there's a lot of things to love about living on the island.
Right.
Things have been a lot nicer since I moved to the country because it's quieter.
Oh, I bet.
My neighbors are cows.
And you have dogs. The dogs can run around outside.
It means I finally got to have I have way too many pets now because we have a senior pet rescue. Because every time we see a picture of one, we're like, oh, we can help that one.
So there's a senior pet rescue in PEI.
Well, no, it's just us.
That's what you.
Well, no, the only pets we take are seniors.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I was like, do you have a legit organization? Oh my God, this is something I never knew.
No, because that would mean dealing with other people and other people who like pets, and that's a nutty segment of people. So
that is something. Number one, you're an angel for taking in senior pets, because that is definitely something that I think a lot of people, they want puppies and kittens.
Oh yeah.
So many. And it's like the gift you could give an animal by taking in an older animal.
Plus, they're so much nicer to have. Like, we ended up with a puppy because someone used their Justin Trudeau money to buy a Chihuahua puppy on the island. But the thing has the voice of like Gilbert Gottfried. He will not shut up. Like, he loves the sound of his own voice. So she couldn't keep him in the apartment anymore. She was going to get kicked out. So now we ended up with this puppy, and I love him to bits, but he will not stop moving.
Oh my gosh.
Talking and moving and talking and moving. But like the old ones, they just sleep all day.
They're more docile. Also, like their personalities it is what it is. You get what you get.
Yeah.
It's not like a puppy. Like when you get a puppy or a kitten, it's like, it's a fucking mixed bag of what that dog or cat will eventually be.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
You know, like when I got Mindy, like I wanted a lap cat. I want a cuddly little lap cat. And she is furthest from that. I mean, she's cuddly, but she won't be like, she doesn't like to be held.
Yeah.
And she won't curl up on your lap. But she will rub against you and like be beside you all the time.
Yeah.
But she wasn't the cat I wanted, but she's the cat I got. You know?
Kind of like having kids.
Exactly, right? And I wouldn't trade her for the fucking world at this point.
Okay, that's not like my mother, but I was not the cat she wanted, and she really wanted to trade me, I think.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a half brother who lives in BC, and then I have another brother who lives in Ontario.
Okay, so are you youngest, oldest, middle?
I am the oldest from this family.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Oldest.
And also the coolest, the prettiest, the best, the funniest.
All the ists.
All the ists are me.
Oh, that's all you. I fucking love it. Okay, I'm learning so much about Katherine. I think it's time, now that we're on this journey, let's get into the assumption segment.
Ooh.
So
what is it? What do you assume?
So I have a couple written down, and so I'm going to tell you these, and you let me know if they're true or not.
Okay.
And I still might think of new ones as we go.
Okay.
I mean, this, again, I suck at this segment because sometimes I think I just write down facts. Because I just kind of observe things about people and I just want them to elaborate on it. So I just wrote that you are good at and also enjoy talking back to hecklers.
Yeah.
Because I've seen video footage of it and I've heard stories.
I've heard stories.
Well, you've told me stories.
Oh, the stories I've told you.
You know, of like someone interrupting you or talking during your set, and you fucking put them in their fucking place. So
depending on where I am.
Do you actually enjoy that? Because not all comics have the guts or the gall to talk back at hecklers. It scares them too much, or they're scared of going off course, or they're scared of the conflict and the interaction. But you don't seem to be afraid of that at all. You just go there.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you saw me at the basement with that guy, Darren.
What was his Darren?
It wasn't really his name, but we made up his Kirsten Finch made up his name.
That's right. And he talked back to a bunch of us that night.
Yeah, and I unfortunately woke him up.
Yes.
Because I decided, because he was like, literally, he started to sleep. So he wasn't heckling until I made him heckle, because I woke him up. It was a
silent heckle.
Well, I woke him up and then he got mad. So then I had to deal with the situation I created.
Do you have fun with situations like that? Do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, a lot of fun. It turns on that part of my brain that's really quick off the cuff.
Right.
So it's like, it enables me to do crowd work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
And not everyone has that.
That's where I'm funny. I'm more funny when I'm talking to people one-on-one than I am on stage. So trying to translate how I am when I talk with people naturally to when I'm up there is very challenging for me.
Oh, I see.
So when someone brings me out of it and like they get me chatting, then
Yeah.
I can think of a funny thing. And
Number one, you're very funny on stage, so stop that.
I didn't say I wasn't. I just mean like it's not as.
Oh, I see.
Like it's not as natural.
Not as natural. See, and a lot of people are the opposite, right? A lot of people think like whatever their set is, their jokes, like they can do that, and then crowd work and stuff isn't the natural. Like that's how I am. I'm like, that's not my natural state, is like the interaction, because it takes me out of it so much, and then I tend to forget where I was. Yeah. So do you have an easy way of like getting back on track after you have like an interaction with like someone in the audience.
Sometimes it throws me and I forget the next joke. It happens all the time. But like the bar that one bar that we do stand up out of, or that I do stand up out of on the island, like the weekly one, it's so empty there sometimes. So like if you don't address things and you don't do crowd work,
right.
Like you're not talking to the people, you would be talking over 5 people who are looking directly at you.
I see exactly what you mean.
So then you're not connecting.
Some shows like force you to do it.
Yeah, but like yucks, when there's a bright light on your face, how are you supposed to be like?
How are you supposed to talk to light? It's very similar. There's a room here called Red Room. It's over in Dartmouth. It's in an art gallery, and it's a very small, intimate venue. I think it only seats 20 people total. And it's the same thing. If you go in there and there's like only 2 tables, I always just go like, okay, we're talking. Let's talk. Like this is a podcast now, not a comedy show. Because you kind of have to, because otherwise that's so weird. Getting up there and being very performative for 5 people.
I can't understand, and they won't listen to this anyways because they won't be interested in what I'm doing. But like some of the open micers on the island, like they do, and I'm half sorry, not sorry if you are listening. They do the same sets for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can't remember from one joke to the next, and they're not doing any crowd work. And I'm like, this is fun for you?
Yeah. There's like no evolution, no change.
Like, how do you enjoy yourself up here?
Yeah. And like it's getting the same responses, I imagine, too.
Yeah. And like when it doesn't get a good response, they're like, let's quadruple down and do this joke for the 70th time and see if tonight it works. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Oof. Learning to let go of jokes. That is something so many comics have to learn.
Or we all have 1 or 2 that we like, that, we'll tell anyway.
Or not necessarily like letting go, but like learning not to change them or make them better. Or I don't know. It is.
And some of these, like they don't have a punchline. Like I just don't get them. So it's not. There are more things where I'm like, I'm not sure where you were going with that.
Right.
But you're doing it again.
The way that, you know what? Comedy is a very strange thing in that how critical we are of each other.
Oh, for sure.
I often think
But if I've heard it 70 times, I think I've earned the right to have an opinion.
Exactly. But that's why I get so insecure about not writing or like not writing new stuff. And I have this attitude of like, I'm at a point where I have this attitude of like, I'm not going to do shows because I don't want to turn out the same shit. Because I know how comics think and I know what they're thinking, and like, it's just this constant, like, trying to keep up to your own standards and also the standards of other comedians.
Playing to the back of the room.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. And always having them in the back of your head instead of like there's 50 people in front of you all there to see you. And then there's like 75% of your head is paying attention to 5 people you can't see at the back of the room.
Right? So oftentimes I'm always just like, I gotta do at least one new bit, or I gotta change something up. Like I gotta do something different to let them know that I give a shit and that I'm self-aware. Because self-awareness in comedy is something that's respected. Like I feel like for the most part, if you're a good comedian, you can respect someone who's at least self-aware about what they're doing.
Oh yeah, like Dan and I did a corporate show. Like Dan Hendricken and I did a corporate show a couple of weeks ago, and I ate shit up there. Like I'm not used to doing corporate shows. We went up 45 minutes late. It was supposed to be a 9 o'clock start. They cut our sets in half, but not our pay, so that was fine. And
that's good.
It was like the 30th year anniversary of this furniture supply company, and the CEO is up there giving a speech that goes way too long at the end, and this big burly man is bawling, like he's crying and crying. Dan was crying a bit behind me because he knew he was going to have to go on. I was crying a lot more than Dan. And then he forgot he hired comedians. So his HR person had to get up and be like, hey, we have performers. And he was like, oh, welcome Katherine Cairns and Dan Hendrickson to the stage. And it was not fun. And so we're leaving, and like speaking of self-awareness, and I said, like, you did really good, because he did. Like he did wonderfully. And we're leaving. He goes, good job too. And I said, like, no.
Dan gave you a good job?
Yeah, but I said, like, you're being sweet. Okay, I got him a corporate gig. It could be just because of that. Like,
sweetening the deal. He's just being very nice. Yeah.
I was like, I'll hire you again. That's fine. I said, but like, don't. It's okay. Like, that's sweet that you're saying that, but I can hear myself. And the reason that I can do what I can do is because I can hear myself. So I appreciate the compliment, but I also know that didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. Yeah. And I'm glad that I know that.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to be a comedian who can't hear that.
Yep, of course. That's
worse.
Well, they're the worst comedians. Yeah. You know? We all know. You know. And yeah. And again, yeah, it is one of those things where you do have to ask yourself, like, what enjoyment are you getting out of this? If you're not, like, I have a hard time even when I do well taking in. You know how you hear people say, like, oh God, that felt so great. It was so fun to like do something that landed, and you hear the laughs. Lately, I haven't been feeling that feeling.
The rut.
And I don't know what that is. And it probably is a rut, or probably is exhaustion, or
one of those things.
You know, whatever it is.
Lull.
Or just, it's a lull. There's lots of lulls in comedy.
There's a lot more lows than highs.
More valleys than peaks, for sure.
Yeah.
And you've been
Yep.
You've been doing it 3 years?
Yeah, just 3 years.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you're wildly amazing for 3 years. Like,
thanks. That's sweet of you.
Yeah, like truly.
I think it's how much they made me fight on the island too.
That could very well be it. You know what? Like, if you're constantly performing for tough crowds, you're going to build up a resilience other people might not. That, and just the other comedians were so cliquey about like just wanting to have shows with the people they knew and stuff like that. Right. So, but then they would book new comedians and not me. The first 10 months, like aside from Joe Revel, who started talking to me after a little bit, but like I sat by myself. Oh my goodness. Wow. You know, but that made me tough. So I'm almost not upset about it. But there you go. The fact that you did that alone really shows your love of comedy, because I think so much of comedy and why it's appealing to people is the cool factor, the community factor. I'm friends with comics because I'm a comic now too, and I feel cool because I'm part of the cool comics club. Yeah, and so if you're doing that alone, it's really showing that you actually do really love the art. Oh yeah, you know, like that's proof right there. Yeah. So this bitch ain't to be fucked with, everybody. Okay, another assumption. You're great at boundaries. You set them and you stick to them. To the annoyance and chagrin of many people. Yes. Can you give me an example of a boundary that you set with people regularly? Oh. I love boundaries, by the way. They're individual to every person. That. Yes, they are. Yeah. They really, really are. I'm really protective of my time and my space. And if I don't want to talk to you, I don't. God bless. That's great. That's great. It's one of the reasons I gave up the open mic. That was a boundary thing. Like I was running that open mic out of that bar, and then it was the woke people saying like, you know, those people shouldn't be saying that. And then the Rogan people going like, I want to be able to say it. And then they telling me I had to tell them, you know, who could say what. And then I went, so one of my boundaries was like, here, you take the mic and run it, because I'm not spending my time during my week talking to all of you about this anymore. This has come up a bunch in the podcast, producing and that fucking weight you feel as a producer to make those types of decisions, and the choice to go, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. And I've talked to a bunch of people who produce, and it's consistently come up across the board as a challenge. Yeah. So this is to say that anyone producing a show, you're crazy. Oh, insane. You're insane. Why? But also, thank you. Yes, thank you for the stage time. You're nuts. But it's very tough. And if I had to hear the word problematic one more time, if I had to hear another joke where someone said something homophobic that they didn't need to say, that they could have rewritten the joke 700 other ways and it would have worked fine. Like on both sides of the spectrum, I was like, you need to get it together, people. Yeah. And I think the thing is too, is like, there is a middle ground, but it's tough to get people there, because you're right, you have the extremes. Yeah. You have you can't say anything. Yeah. And you can say everything. It's like, no, there's a middle ground here. Yeah. You know, like, or that thing, like, is it a thing here where people say you should only tell the story that's yours to tell? That's definitely a thing that can come up. Yeah, for sure. But then they don't know my story. So who's to say that what I'm saying, like, you're judging based on how I told a joke, that it's not my story. Right. Yeah. Like, I can remember Joan Rivers, there was a guy heckling her, and he was saying like, you can't tell a joke about deaf people. I have a deaf daughter. How can you do that? And she says, you know, shut up about it. You know, she says, my mother's deaf. Yeah.
You know, so the things like you don't realize.
Yeah. I just think generally speaking, if you're a sensitive person who...
Don't go to a comedy
So
show.
I'll use an example. So last night I did a roast, little roast get together at my friend's birthday, who's a non-comic friend,
Right.
who planned a roast for her. And there was 2 comics on the lineup and the rest were non-comics.
Okay.
I have a joke that I had the punchline be a little more offensive than what I thought this audience could handle.
You just tried it out. Yeah.
And I didn't do it because I was too scared to. It was about Amber Heard. Like, I know that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff is like very polarizing.
Right. I don't publicly have an opinion. Privately, I have an opinion. I just don't want to get canceled.
Right. Well, that's it. Right.
Yeah.
And I just literally chose to do a more mediocre joke because I was like, this is like a room of non-comics mostly.
Yeah.
There was a couple couple comics there. And if it goes well, it would be amazing. Mm-hmm. But it going bad is going to be far worse. So I chose not to. But granted, like I could probably take that joke and do it like, you know, at a comedy show and it would probably be fine. But it was this weird moment of like me towing that line and figuring out like, is this worth my energy?
It's almost
having
like
people come at me
that
about
little
it.
voice in your head that like protects you. That's like, if we say this could be a problem.
Yes.
Do you want to do this?
But I love it so much. And
I know.
And when I say it to people, they laugh. But fuck.
I know.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, and I sympathize with producers. I think that they're like a crucial part of comedy scenes.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how they do it. Yeah.
My show messages just started being like, hey, if you do it dumb, try and fix it. Thanks. Because like they weren't even reading my messages before the show. And I know this because I had like 4 points or something, or 6 points. I don't freaking know. But like point 4 was, if you read this all the way through and improve it to me, I will give you a beer. Never gave out a beer.
Shut up. That's such a good idea. Hide it in there somewhere near the end.
All they cared about was the lineup. They opened it up to see the lineup, to see where they were, to see how many minutes they got.
Right.
And they didn't care about the rest of it.
Yeah. I had, I found myself being overly sensitive to that when I for a very brief time, two shows, ran an open mic at Dal, actually at the Grawwood, the bar there. And they told me when I started the room that like they have a code of standards or whatever that performers have to abide by, which is essentially just like, don't be a fucking racist. Like, don't like punch down to certain groups. You know,
don't be an asshole.
The basics.
Yeah.
And I had to do the thing where I had to get comics to like read it, and I don't think anyone did. But I did sit there in the first night being a bit nervous. Yeah. I won't lie. Because the thing is like people take things how they want to take them.
Yeah.
And most people do not consider intention when they're hearing things they don't like.
No, they just hear the buzzword they don't like, and then they go and they focus on it.
Because here's the thing, and I wonder if you agree with this. People can get addicted to their own stress hormones. They're addicted to stress.
Yeah,
they actually
some
like
people
it.
just seem to be addicted to being drama.
Yes.
And it circles around them like a tornado.
Yes.
And they're not happy unless
something as chaotic is going on.
Yeah, and it's like, no, everything's finally good. Can you just breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an insane
like
thing. Yeah, I think I've been like that in the past. But,
I definitely have been like that in the past.
Right? But then you realize this isn't worth it anymore. I'm losing relationships. It's not sustainable.
The common denominator to my problems is myself.
Right. Once you realize that, you got to cut it the fuck off and not.
Yeah.
And choose peace. Like choose peace actively.
Yeah. And I was starting to feel like that more with the open mic and all the messaging and and I was like, this is starting to feel like you're all trying to rope me into that. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, boundaries. Team boundaries.
You also assumed before we started podcasting, I would just like to say on the record that you thought I was young. Well, thank you.
35. I would have put you on.
That's right. I am 35.
That's 6 years younger than you are. Right?
Thank you for outing me. I was trying to go along with this. Yes, I'm 41.
I thought you were 30.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this is fun. More assumptions. I just wrote that you're really great at heart-to-hearts because I feel like you're someone who's honest and you hear people out. Like, number one, you sent me like the most lovely voice message like before my yucks weekend that
did I? Yes, I
I'm
remember.
so grateful for because it put me at such ease, and a lot of people were making me feel really dumb for the feelings I was having.
Aren't people great?
Aren't people great, right?
Yeah.
You express insecurities and they're like, you don't deserve to have those insecurities.
You shouldn't feel that way. Let me fix it for you as soon as you said how you feel.
But it's like, it's not something that everyone has the time to do. And you took the time to like send me like a 2-minute like voice memo that was so reassuring. So I just assume that like you're someone who's like, you do good heart to hearts, and you seem to balance you're not an emotional dumper, so you're not the only one doing the talking. No. You know when to stop, when to listen, when to talk.
Emotional dumpers. They make me insane. Yeah. Like, I am so cautious when I write to people or when I talk to them that I value their time. Like if I'm asking like for a mentor's time, I will always be sure to say like, hey, do you have 10 minutes? Do you have 15 minutes?
Yes.
So that I don't make them feel like it might be this open-ended thing where they're stuck with me forever and ever and ever. So yeah.
What a lovely quality to have, because some people don't have that and it's fucking frustrating.
Yeah. So I'm good at heart to hearts, but if you are an emotional dumper, one of my boundaries is I don't.
Fascinating. I had a friend message me last night in what could be perceived as an emotional dump, but I made the decision in the moment being like, I'm letting this happen because sometimes people are in a state of like true crisis. And exactly right.
If
and
you're not like
that
95% of the time, go nuts. Everybody has a minute.
Exactly right. That's just it. But if you're someone who's constantly doing that.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious then, if someone starts to emotionally dump, how do you approach stopping?
Just ghost them. Just.
What if it's in person?
Oh God.
Is it
It's difficult.
I don't have capacity to do this right now. Is that a good thing to say?
It is. I have trouble in the moment. Like usually I ride that situation out and then the boundary comes into effect after.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because who knows how to handle that in the moment?
That's a tough thing to do.
Because they're right there in front of you. You know?
Yeah.
It's really hard because you feel bad for them because you have empathy and like you want to be there. And at the same time, like they're just, when you start to talk to help them, they're just waiting for you to stop talking so they can say the next thing and you can see it in their face.
So you feel like you couldn't even really talk.
Yeah. So you're like, am I required for this conversation? Or
yeah. Hot tip, people, just talk into a mic and record it yourself. I've done a bunch of like private podcasts that I haven't posted for anybody. That's just me ranting.
Put on that mask and go for a walk outside and just talk to yourself. And no one can see because you got on that mask.
Because I get needing to talk. I understand having to get it out.
Sure.
I totally get that.
You have to flap your lips sometimes, but it doesn't always have to be to somebody else.
I also highly recommend getting off social media.
Oh, yeah.
To avoid any public meltdowns.
Yeah. Also, vague booking. Can we all agree to stop vague booking?
I do it all the time.
Sarah, can we agree right now to stop vague booking?
But what I'll do is I'll say it's a vague book. So
that's fair.
Okay,
you're calling it.
I'm self-aware vague booker.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a good compromise.
But I like doing it because sometimes I have to get people interested.
Okay, well, that's also fair.
You know? But like, you gotta be self-aware about it.
Yeah.
I don't like, this is a pet peeve, when someone dies and it's very mysterious as to who the person is and what the fuck happened, especially in the comedy community where we lose people
all the time.
And then you'll hear, I'm such a mess right now. Rest in peace, buddy. And it's like someone you know and you're like, do I know who died? Who died?
Yeah, and then it sets you into a panic because you're like, who now?
And then you don't feel like you can reach out and go, who died? Because that seems insensitive.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I feel like if you're going to post about someone dying.
And then you have to go like creeping around trying to figure out what happened while you're panicking. Yeah. Can we all stop doing that, comedy community? Can we stop?
I will do that because I'm obsessed.
Well, yeah.
And I get obsessed with like specifically how someone dies, especially if they're younger. I'm like, I need to know.
Because when
what the
they're
fuck
around your
happened?
age, it's like that selfish thing of like, am I going to die now
Right.
too?
Exactly.
Of the thing?
Is it
the
health
thing?
related? Was it suicide? Was it an overdose? What, an accident?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
And obituaries never tell you.
Did you get your drugs from the same dealer as me? Do I need to look at my stash more carefully?
Was something laced that I ingested? I think people should normalize cause of death more. That's just what I think. I truly think that.
Yeah.
Because you'll just hear the very common, like, they suddenly passed away.
That scares the hell out of the rest of us.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Ugh.
I have a lot of anxiety. That does make me, I do think a lot. Like, is today the day I spontaneously combust? Is it now?
Oh, do you have death anxiety too? I do too.
A large amount.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know the way around it, honestly.
Once you're dead.
It won't matter.
That's what I'm really hoping that I'm not one of those white people that comes back and haunts people. Because like if I was a person of color, I don't even have to worry about it, right? They're not haunting shit. Like they're like afterlife, yes, please. But white people are like, ooh, can I hang around and like slam some doors and stuff? Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's great. Let's see. Okay. I just wrote that I think that you're a decisive person. You're not someone who lingers on decisions.
I don't know about that.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Missed the bit again, Sarah. Fuck.
I'm sorry, it's a deadpan thing I do. It annoys some people. Am I decisive? I'm stubborn.
Okay.
I don't know if that's decisive.
That could help with decisiveness, maybe. Like if you're someone who knows what you want, you stick to it. And that could go into the boundaries thing too, right?
Yeah, I just have very big walls around everything, which have been created by so many people trying to trample over things that I made that I was like okay, this wall has barbed wire now and it goes this far and it has a moat and go away.
Like defensiveness a little bit, or?
I was being too nice to everybody and having too many good conversations with people and making them feel good about themselves and turning into the friend therapist. You know, the one who's always there. And then you don't get anything back from it, really. So that's where that came from.
Oh, yeah.
Because I kept meeting the same person over and over and over in a different body. And I was like, why you again?
So I heard a quote today that was, you will meet the same person your whole life until you learn the lesson. Yeah. I was like, God damn, that's true.
Yeah, that's what my therapist told me 2 days ago. I was like,
isn't that wild?
Bitch, why? So right.
We really do often forget that friendship is two ways. It's a dynamic is you should be giving and getting. And so many people just give. And there's so many poor weather friends out there that only talk to you when things are going bad.
Or when they want something in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so true.
Well, I mean, I mean,
lockdowns. I mean, as soon as the lockdown happens, where are all these people who are having all these conversations and wanted to know about comedy and how's this joke and how would I further this? And then the lockdown happens and you don't talk to me. And then the mic comes back on and it's, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Ooh.
Like it's obvious.
It's obvious. And it's obvious when someone cares about you more to... Oh, man. Yeah, that's a tough thing. But you don't need to do that.
Like, you can just go, like, instead of kissing someone's ass, you can just go, like, hey, I'd love to be on this show the next time it's on.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of, like, being a sycophant. Do you have to do that? No. You have to blow smoke at somebody and, like...
Yeah.
Hate it.
I mean, at least you're someone who can see through it. That's good.
Because I've seen that person too many times.
Yes.
Now I know what they look like.
Yes.
Short hair, long hair, curly hair, straight hair, man, woman, baby. I can see them.
They can come in all forms.
Non-binary. I can see them all.
All forms. The only other thing I wrote was that you have a closet people want to raid.
No.
What?
I don't think so.
I always love your outfits and like the way that you style yourself.
Thank you.
I want to raid your closet then. That's just my way of saying it.
Go ahead. Come to the island. Just bring some things to replace.
We'll do a trade.
Your style too, so.
We'll do a trade-off.
That would be good.
Those are my assumptions about you. But the thing is like, I'm going to be learning more about you throughout this conversation. So
that's true.
I'm going to walk away with a lot less assumptions and more facts.
Hopefully not a lot of distaste.
No, not at all. I adore you. And now that we're fired up, I would love to get into the next segment, which is the rant segment. Time to get negative, and this is not toxic positivity time. This is what is pissing you off, what's something that you could just pop off about, what's bugging you.
It bothers me. Did we say this in the warm-up?
And you can also do multiple rants if you want.
Multiple rants. Maybe one will feed into the other. Do you want to get me started ranting about stuff?
Yes.
Okay, let's get me canceled. So,
I do not like minorities. Oh shit! I always find it funny because I also have the unpopular opinion segment that I save to the end, and I'm like, no comic has yet to say it, but it would just be funny if someone was just like, COVID's not real, or like just like, oh shit, I did a whole episode with someone that I didn't. Yeah, you know.
I'm an anti-vaxxer, believes in hot tubs in the middle of the city.
Okay, what
ranting?
Yeah, what pisses you off?
I don't remember if I said it in the warm-up or if I said it before when we were talking. I hate it when people buy tickets to go to a comedy show and they sit at the front. Can I swear?
Yes.
At the front fucking table. And like they paid money sometimes and then they just stare at you. I also hate it when like a woman drags her husband out to an art event for the night and he didn't realize he had to go see female comedians and he's very upset about it. God, and so they sit like this.
Yeah, arms crossed.
The make me laugh face.
And women see that far more than men, let me tell you. The crossed armed man.
I have every video I have ever taken of any set ever. In the first 30 seconds, there is a dude that walks by the camera to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, because it's the best time, didn't you know?
Yeah.
Best time to go for a pee break, go for a smoke. Yeah. While there's a woman on. Perfect.
Yeah, they weren't going to say anything interesting anyway.
I got at least 5 minutes.
Ugh. Yeah, it makes me nuts.
I just think you hit on a great point, too, about the dragging the husband out. God, what fucking cucks you are. Like, just stay home.
Right? I saw guys like this at the mall when I went to the mall and they're sitting on the couches and their girls are shopping and I'm like, dude, he doesn't even have a cell phone to look at. Like he didn't come prepared.
Have you ever looked into the eyes of a man holding a purse in a store?
They have no soul.
It's been taken. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how desperate people think I am for a relationship. I will never date someone who, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd like someone to carry groceries for me sometime, but sure. like I'm not going to make you go in Sephora and hold my bag as I fill my cart up with makeup. Like,
why are you doing that? Why?
That's my time. You stay the fuck home, or go into Sport Check or whatever. You know, go into a man's store. Yes. You know,
why do they bring them with them to do? 13 years I've been with my husband. He's been shopping with me for clothes twice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I go, I'm going shopping for clothes. I'll see you later.
Right, and when he did that, did he go into the store with you?
The 2 times, yes. And one of them was specifically. That word did not come out well.
That's a hard word to say.
He came out because I wanted him to pick the dress for the show.
You wanted an opinion, which is fair. I get that.
But it wasn't to the mall. It was to the dress store.
And you were on, it was a mission. It was a specific thing. It's not like, it's like hour 3 of a shopping trip and they're just,
no.
Like,
how is he supposed to get an erection after that? You know?
It's just
after a day of that, like, there's no Viagra in the world that's going to fix that. Even for a 20-year-old man, he's going to need Viagra and it won't help.
And I will say, I don't know what it is. Yeah, back to the comedy show thing. I totally get your rant. It's very frustrating. I think even if you go and you don't laugh, but you smile or you make expressions or you nod, like there's little ways you can show a performer that you're present and listening to them without busting out laughing. Because not everyone you find funny, and I get that. You don't want a fake laugh. We want real laughs. Let's pretend that we're talking about hecklers right now.
Instead of pretending, we could actually just talk about hecklers. Yeah. What's the point B before we start doing the point A?
Why the fuck did I say pretend? That's so funny. Yeah, let's act. We're actresses now. I'm playing the part of Sarah. You're playing the part of Katherine. Yeah. So I'm just gonna throw a question to you, and then we'll just kind of get reffing on it. Do you find that there's a different type of heckling when you're a female in stand-up heck shows.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, you get the silent hecklers, right? You get those ones here, like where they just sit and stare at you.
Yes, and with the arms crossed.
Yeah, and they call them trout faces because they look like dead fish.
Trout faces.
Like,
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, and you're like, why did you come? But yeah, it's always arms crossed, and they look at you like, make me laugh.
Yeah, it's very much so a let's see what you got. Like, whereas, you know, like men watching men, it's like, oh, let's be entertained. Like, it's an entirely different thing.
Malcolm Gladwell like did a study about it. And apparently, like, at least I think it was him. I could be name dropping the complete wrong person, but like, let's attribute it to him. That with a man, it's like they look at each other and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna make me laugh." You know, it's funny. And the other one's, it's like, make me laugh, because a guy thinks that another guy's funny, like when they're laughing about stuff, but a guy thinks a girl is funny when she's laughing at his jokes.
That's right. Oh, she just has a good sense of, like, really, when a guy says they want a funny girl, they want someone to be laughing at them.
Yeah.
They want a girl with a sense of humor, not necessarily a funny woman.
Like a sidekick. Yeah.
A sidekick. Yeah. They want to be laughed at, not made laugh, which is, ugh.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, those hecklers. So you get those ones. Do you notice any other ones?
I'm just trying to think. I mean, I think the oblivious talk over you with good intentions heckler is an archetype. Like the ones that want to be part of a show so much they try to beat you to the punchline. Okay. Or do you know what I mean? Like they're like good intentioned interrupters is what I would call them. Like Claire
had that the other night, remember?
Yes.
Like, remember, like, she got up to headline and the crowd was so lukewarm, like, the last night there. Yeah. And the one girl, like, she blurts out, I think it was her 19th birthday or something.
That's right.
You know, Claire was so funny. She's like, "Oh, you've been waiting all night to be included." Like, it was.
I fucking loved that. Yeah.
They were like an audience. We were saying to each other that, like, they just want to, you and I were saying to each other, they just want to be a part of the show.
They just want to be part of the show. Which, if they're being positive, like, I mean, there's ways you can play with that as a comic. Yeah. More so than the someone who's just like maybe aggressively yelling or
we had one of those last night.
Routing. What's that?
We had one of those last night at the open mic. He got booted out.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. Like he was trying to join in on every comment. It was.
Well, I'm glad that he got booted. Like someone from the pub, like booted him.
The one time the owner happened to be there. It was like the one time we had a heckler. It was great. I love when people take that type of thing seriously. Like hosts. I love it when a host will like tell people to shut the fuck up. And like walk up to people during. It went on for like a few comics, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's
so maybe it's just they didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah. So, that's fair. The other thing too is that we talked about was the joy you feel when you make a man laugh and how that's oddly satisfying as a woman when you do get that validation.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, that whole thing that we were just talking about.
Yeah. It's one of those things where we don't want to need that validation.
But we need that validation.
Feels damn good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always happier when I can make the guys laugh. Maybe it's because it's harder to make them laugh.
I think that's what it is. I think it's because we have so much stacked up against us and we broke down that wall.
Yeah. It's like, even you laughed. Okay, so I really got everyone. I think maybe that's what it is. I'm hoping it's not needing male approval. Like, what if it is?
I know what it is. Hey, Catherine, I know it is for me.
Okay, probably is for me too.
There you go. So hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not, right?
You know? Yeah. I mean, it's funny for someone, I think, and maybe you're similar. It's funny for someone like me where so much of my comedy is shitting on men. But then I'm like, can you laugh at the jokes that I'm making about making fun of you, please?
Yeah, no, I get that because I've had a new bit that I did through crowd work like a few weeks ago where got mad at them, like not mad, but like I got like pissy at like the hosts for my intro. I went up and started doing some crowd work about like how I didn't like that. Didn't want to touch the mic because I was worried it had too much cock on it, and I didn't want to get pregnant with some like weird comedian's baby.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, so I expect them to be on my side and want to talk to me. At the same time, I'm calling them dirty, and they don't know how to wash their hands, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm not making friends well. Like, I'd be mad if they did that about me.
Same. I'm like, you guys are pieces of shit. Date me.
You know what Please? I think of you. Do you want to go out with me?
Yeah.
I'm not really a misandrist. It's just my stage personality.
Yeah, totally.
I really love you.
What is your opinion on ladies' nights? So like one rant that I always have in comedy is that like people tend to downplay ladies' nights as like easy or, you know, like too encouraging, or they'll say things like, you would be great on a ladies' night. Like,
okay, well, that's a little like insulting. That. The first two things are true, though. It is an easier room, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think it is?
Oh, yeah. Because people, well, they're there to hear a certain kind of comedy, and they're there to laugh, which is great. I mean, it's unusual for an audience to all be there to laugh. So it's a great thing. But you can also just talk about certain things, and it's like the certain keywords and buzzwords that people want to hear.
That's right.
And then it's easier to get a laugh.
And they're prepared for it. They know what they're getting going into it. So
yeah, I can't put my finger on exactly why, but I always do find them to be easier audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't bad. I mean, it's a whole room of people laughing. Who the heck doesn't want an easier audience? But
truly. The
only thing that gets wrong with it, like if you see new comics where they start there and they only do that mic,
that's it, right?
That's where I think the trouble comes in, because then you get used to this false sense of security where it's like everything is nice and cuddly and cozy, but then when you go outside of it, it's a shock to them.
You are so right about that. I can't say enough how important it is to do a variety of mics. Like, do the shitty mics, do the really good ones, like do them all.
All of them.
Get the full gamut. Because it's going to literally be like jumping into a hot tub after like being in a lukewarm pool kind of thing, like that kind of contrast.
Oh yeah, see, I had it that's maybe why I'm like, it's too easy, because I did it the other way. I went to the dive bar for so long, and I had the tough laughs for so long that I'm like, well, this is too easy. But yeah, I should enjoy it more probably when it comes around.
Right? No,
but all that pain was good for me. Like, it made me super tough. It doesn't matter to me if an entire room of people just stares at me.
It thickens the skin quite a bit.
Well, I still don't love it. Like, no one loves it, but
no one.
It doesn't hurt my soul anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take it personally, and I can talk my way out of it too. Like, it taught me how to banter. So you don't learn how to banter if you just do like a set. A specific set.
Yeah. No, you're right. It makes you fight for it in a weird way. And so in this part 2 interview with you, you have already done your yucks set. How did you feel about the 2 nights that you did yucks?
It ended up being 3, like not official, because the one was the pro-am night on the Thursday.
Oh, right.
So at least I got to get comfortable with the space, but it's not officially a yucks night. So that was really helpful. And I loved that night. That night I got to talk in my own voice. I think we were talking about that last time. I just done that, and we were about to do like just the actual yucks weekend. And I really liked it. I just wish that the nights could have been flipped, because the audience on the last night, they didn't laugh at a punchline that always gets a laugh. So it was like, I know it's not me. I know it's just you guys and the mood you're in or whatever. It was a work night, you know, and I wanted the work night to maybe be the first night, and then the fun night to be the second night.
Isn't that funny how that goes? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But it was everybody had trouble. So I didn't you'd feel bad if it was only you who had trouble and everybody else sails through.
It's something I've been witnessing a lot at Yucks lately. I don't know what it is. This past weekend that I went, it was a similar thing where I was watching going, these comics, like all the comics in the back were dying laughing. Yeah. And the audience was very tepid. And I'm just going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like
what did they want? What more did they want from Claire? I think I said to you, like, pearls before swine. Like, what more do you want her to do?
Right?
Put on tap shoes and start dancing for you at the same time? Like, she was doing great.
She was doing so great. And I really do think sometimes it's just a fucking crap crowd for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crapshoot of combination of people that you're getting in a room, you know?
And maybe there are some people who are super skilled, like Robin Williams, if he could come back from the dead and go in that room, like maybe probably he could do it.
Yeah. But I also think that an important factor that people tend to forget about is how you stack a lineup, like the styles of comics that you put on together in the host and how they all play together. Because I think that go like actually a good example of that is Claire was once on the same Yucks night as Scott McLean, who's I don't know if you've seen Scott. He's this white man.
He's one of those white men that I've heard about. He's a Scott, a Peter, a Jim, and I wouldn't know.
Right?
Yeah.
He's very like high energy, loud, like kind of ranty. And then Claire was after him, and Claire goes up and she goes, I'm sorry for this weird transition and energy. This is like if a heavy metal band opened for a folk singer. And I was like, that's so dead on. You have to keep in mind stuff like that, right?
And she addressed it right away too, which is good, because otherwise the tone would have happened, like the change in tone. And
yeah,
you really have to address the elephants in the room, because everybody sees it. So they hear it. So if you don't do it.
Yeah, I would agree. And like
control,
especially like if something doesn't land, like addressing that it didn't land. I have issues. I need to do that more because I do think that does help, because at least then the audience knows that you're not dumb. You know what I mean? Like you're self-aware, you know that what you didn't work.
I went up last night with all new material, and I went up and I put them all on cue cards, because it's great, because then you can preface it to the audience and you can say it's all new material. So if it doesn't land, that's fine. And, I just flipped from card to card, and it was so much easier that way. And that way, when something doesn't land, especially with new material, I can just go, well, that didn't work. Oh, well, next one. Maybe the next one will be a winner.
Yeah. And like being able to do that at mics is really, really good.
And just not feeling bad about it if it doesn't land. Like, it's not personal. You can just laugh and be like, well, that was funny in the shower, so you should be with me in the shower. Maybe then you think it's funny. Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I like doing the bringing something to stage, almost like a rant. Like I had a texting situation with a guy, and then something happened with that I was so pissed that I was like, I just want to talk about it on stage and see if there's anything funny there.
I don't want to know what the situation is, but we can keep moving. But it
was essentially that we had been texting for a full year and had never gotten together.
Catfish.
No. So kind of a long story. Like, I actually know this person. We had gone on a date like many years ago, and then we reconnected. And we're texting and like kept doing we should get a drink, and then making plans, and then one of us would cancel, or like it just wouldn't happen. And so the whole joke was like, I would have a 3-month-old right now if I got knocked up on the date that we like that's how long I've been in the talking, like as single people we call it the talking phase. Like the talking,
so we didn't have names for this before.
The talking phase is like when you're like talking back and forth, like, oh, we should do this, we should do that, and you haven't actually met up yet.
That's a long talking phase.
1 fucking year. 1 fucking year.
Well, if he cared, he would meet up with you. He deserved the joke,
And then I always like to say, I'm like, to be fair, too, I'm also a dumb bitch. I should not have gone that long talking to someone who clearly did not want to get together with me. So I'm very self-aware in that. But
I needed that last person on the list in my text messaging for when I thought no one else wanted to talk to me that day. So I just wanted to keep that option open.
Pretty much.
I held up hope for so long.
I took that to stage and I just kind of ranted a bit. And then I went, there's not really a punchline to that yet. Moving on. And then like that was kind of fun just to do, just to like,
sometimes you don't have the punchline yet. Sometimes you get stuff from just bantering when you're up there.
Exactly. And you're just seeing if there's any nuggets, if there's nuggets of gold kind of thing. I love it. Love that. So, okay, Katherine, are you ready for the next segment?
We got off track there, I guess.
The reason I'm laughing is we're both aware that this is the second part 2 of your interview with me. You've already done 2 segments, but this is my favorite segment. This is the segment where we get to know why you aren't perfect. You're not a perfect human. So I want to know what's wrong with you.
On a minor level, from listening to the first half of this podcast, I say yep so much in response to things that if people want to go back to listen to the beginning and play a drinking game, they'll get smashed. That's on like a micro level. What else is wrong? Now you're going to notice it through the rest of the thing. Yep.
No, I don't mind yeps, by the way. Things like that. At least you're not a person.
I was picking that up today though, because I was trying not to yep. Maybe I should get rid of it. I don't know now.
But those things make us human, and they make the conversation feel more real, in my opinion. I've listened to podcasts before with people who every 1 second it's ooh,
that's worse.
I totally think it's worse.
That's worse.
Don't be too hard on yourself on the yeps.
Connected to the micro, what's wrong with me? I have imposter syndrome terribly.
Oh, a comedian with imposter syndrome?
Goodness. There are dozens of us.
So you don't feel like you deserve the wins that you get, kind of thing?
I have a hard time accepting them, and I get kind of almost upset when something good happens because I feel like I don't deserve it. And it's like looking over your shoulder going, who? Me? You wanted me? Surely not me. The person who couldn't do a somersault in gym class when she was 7? You don't want me.
You can't accept that you did good.
No, which is sad because it means that all the good things that you're experiencing, you have to fight really hard to enjoy yourself and to tell yourself to calm down. Like you're not going to get that experience again. So you might as well try and enjoy yourself.
It's a very tough thing to manage because I think so many people will tell you in comedy, you have to be humble. You can't be cocky in comedy. Right?
Yes and no.
Like, oh, like, I mean, I think cocky is,
if you're not getting in anyone else's lane and you're not being an asshole.
Yeah.
You got to have enough pride that you have a bit of swagger, right?
That's very true. Confidence is great.
Yeah.
But the cockiness is where I'm not so much a fan.
Yeah, that would be a fine.
I'm better than everybody type thing.
Okay.
But we all know that, like, yeah, some people are better than like we all kind of know who's better than who, or like kind of where we fall comedically. But like just that attitude of being better than.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was in Halifax, there were more than one person that they were sort of acting like I didn't exist, like, and they were having like a conversation and I wasn't required for it, but there were only the 3 of us there. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like walk away? Do you have to make this super awkward? Like, I know I'm not at your level, but what happens if one day I get to your level, like whatever that is, and I'm going to remember that. It wouldn't have cost you anything just to turn to me every couple of sentences and include me, but because I'm somewhere else on the food chain.
And that's not fun. Like,
yeah,
it's not fun to feel like that. Even like we all know that there's levels, but like we should be bringing people in, you know, like you always hear good stories of like pro comedians. And a lot of times you'll hear, you know, so-and-so was super nice to me as a newbie. And like, that's an outstanding quality to have in a pro, you know, to be.
Yeah. Those people are super sweet. Like I like them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's Claire and Dan Hendricken and Sean Hogan and James Mullinger. He's been so helpful to me. Like it's nice. And it's like, it's the people who don't feel like they have anything to lose by helping you.
That's right.
So they're
or
confident
acknowledging your existence.
Yeah, it's like there's more than enough room for all of us, so it doesn't hurt them.
Right. That's right. Yeah, no.
Just a better attitude.
Quality.
Some people act like they're like those mountain goats, you know, that have like that tiny purchase on a steep cliff, and they're like, you can't come up here, ma. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's a clickiness that can happen in smaller scenes for sure. And
no, I have never experienced this.
I just think it's funny because I personally have no concept of big city scenes because I've never. So I have no idea what like a place like Toronto would be like.
I've been told the same kind of drama exists everywhere.
Yes. So from what I hear, it's like there's still drama in Toronto, but there's just so many comics that I don't know. Maybe it's just like there's like communities of cliques that happen versus one big one.
Probably. Like there's probably a clique from the safer space one, and a clique from the like say whatever you want one, and a clique from some other thing I haven't thought of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And like the thing is with stuff like that, like you saying coming to Halifax and feeling like people didn't acknowledge you.
Well, not everyone.
Well, not everyone.
It is just sometimes.
Like, you notice it. You notice it. Like it can't go unnoticed, right? Like so much of comedy and why people enjoy it is bonding with other comedians. So when you don't have that,
I like that so much more.
When you don't have that experience, it kind of sucks.
I have so much more fun. I don't know if you do too at the comedian's table than I do on stage sometimes.
Yes!
It's a group of people who understand that you can say whatever you want and you're not doing it to hurt the other person. You're all just joking around. So it's everybody who can act like you act.
Exactly.
Which is relieving. So when that doesn't happen, it's like, that was part of the fun. Like, why do you do that?
You don't get the serotonin hits from doing an
Could you give me my dopamine?
Right? Yes, please.
Withholding.
Yeah. I'd much rather hang with, like I've done mics before not wanting to do mics just because I'm like, oh, I love the lineup. So I'm going to go.
Yeah, because who's going to be there?
Yeah, exactly. It's a social thing a lot of the times.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I know Joe Revel is coming out to the mic because he hasn't been coming out so much lately, he's busy like doing other things. I'm so happy. I'm like, oh, good, my friend's coming. And I'm not like I'm thinking about my set during the day. I should be, but I'm more excited to see my friend.
When did that stop for you? I'm curious. Like the thinking, like, because when I started comedy, I would be nauseous all day.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to think about anything but the set.
I remember.
I would be nervous. I would like not eat because I didn't want to poop.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And then at a certain point, I stopped caring.
I found the downstairs bathroom that no one else used, and I decided that we were fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I shouldn't have given that intel away. There is no downstairs bathroom at the bar.
Was there a certain point in your comedy journey? I hate saying that. Comedy journey that you got less nervous? Got less nervous for the time?
Yeah, it was after I bombed a couple times.
Yeah.
Like badly. And then I stopped caring. And one of them had to be for Dan. First time he had ever booked me. Ever. And it hurt. Like it hurt badly. It doesn't hurt anymore. And I needed it. But like, and there was another night where, the thing with Dan's, I forgot that we were, I looked at Google Maps to see where the thing was. And I typed in Trackety Community Center. So, and it said it was in Mount Stewart. Couldn't have possibly been in a place called Trackety. So I went up and did my whole first few minutes talking to Mount Stewart. Said, hey, Mount Stewart. And I had like Mount Stewart specific jokes.
Oh my God.
And I get off stage and then Dan like looks at me and goes, you know, we're in Trackety. Like, you know how he is. And I was like, oh no. And I didn't have that much fun with my set anyway, because it was the first time a bright light was ever shining right at me. I didn't even know that could happen.
Right.
So I couldn't see anyone. So that was different.
Fuck.
And I was already nervous because it was him and he never booked me on anything. So, and Claire too, because she had just come at that point to the island. I was like, oh, so they're both booking me on something. And yeah, it was
pressure's on. Pressure's on. You feel that pressure?
Yeah. He will still look at me and like, I will look at him. Like I'll be like, I'm in Charlottetown. Like I know where I am. Yeah. And then another time, like Jim Temple and who else? Like a bunch of other people from Nova Scotia came over a few months later and they did a show out of like my normal bar. And I stood up, like they had me do a set and I stood up. I couldn't remember a word of my set.
Really?
I had to look at my really good friend and go like, hey, what do I talk about? And he goes, Karen's. And I went, okay. And I could remember my jokes, but it was painful. Like it was really, like I didn't know English. So I was laughing with them when I saw them this time. Like it was Chris, is it Halef?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was doing that thing where like he saw me this past time. He's like, oh, hey, whatever. You know, and I did my set at Barely's and I did okay at Barely's and I walked by him. He goes, good set. And I was like, yeah, I can do okay when I remember English, right? Like I know I ate shit for the record. I'm aware. It wasn't fun.
No. Well, that makes
and then I was less nervous after that.
Being aware and knowing how to bomb makes you one of the good ones. So what I'm saying is you're one of the good ones, okay? Accept it.
I will accept it. You are as well. We're both the good ones.
Just deal with it. You're talented and funny, all right?
You have to deal with it too because you're talented and funny, all right?
Okay, are we doing a compliment war or something?
I think so.
Okay, so imposter syndrome is one thing you have. What else is wrong with you?
You want more things that are wrong with me?
There's got to be more than that.
Oh, there's a ton of things wrong with me.
Do you have anxiety?
Oh, yeah, lots. I was writing down a list for Nikki Payne. She has me doing an exercise and she's like, write down a whole bunch of your worries, you know, when you don't have any more, write 5 more. And I didn't have that problem for a while. Like I just kept writing page after page of my worries. This might be a problem. I worry that I worry too much.
Do you have any worries that are like next level crazy? Or maybe crazy is not the right word. Like irrational worries?
Irrational.
Because like I do. Like I get on, like we were talking about death. I get on the bus and I won't sit in front of any. This sounds so bad.
Now we need to know.
I won't sit in front of a man, or especially if the man looks sketchy or off-putting, because I'm scared of like being like beheaded or stabbed from behind.
Oh, well, that's a different thing. But at least if it ever happens, you won't be the person it happened to. You know,
it's such a weird thing.
Is it irrational or is it sensible? Like I don't like heights at all. I got suckered into Trigo one time by mistake and I was up at the top and I was like, you know, people are like, do you have a fear of heights? And I'm like, no, I don't have a fear of heights. Like I have a completely rational fear of falling to my death.
That's true.
You know, so maybe your fear is rational because there has been a beheading on a bus.
There has been a beheading on the bus. I've also gotten off of buses because I've just sensed sketchy energy from somebody and I've just felt.
You always have to go with that though. As a woman, there's just a thing and we just know.
Yeah.
You just know. But I always tell girls like younger than me, if you feel that, don't ever question yourself. Just go with it.
I mean, there's no harm that can come from me doing that. It's only putting me at ease and it's not affecting anybody else. But my thing is like the sketchy thing that I think is ever going to happen never ends up happening. It's not like I get off a bus because of a bad vibe. And then an hour later, I see like a news report being like, someone shot up a bus.
When it happens, you're going to feel so smart.
When it happens,
no one's going to
tweet me. I think I need to like text someone or I think I need to tweet every time I get off a bus because of a bad vibe so that I have the time code.
There it is.
In the off case that it does happen. Or I need to text someone and be like, I felt sketchy today. So I got off a bus. Like, like just to prove that I called it.
I have a weird thing that happens, and it's like a Donnie Darko kind of thing, like where I can tell sometimes what's going to happen a couple of seconds before it does. Like, really? I've known that people in my family were dead before anyone told me.
Wait, what?
Someone who was sick.
What?
Yeah, it's strange. I call them useless psychic powers. Because
there's like no stopping it. Like it's shit that already happened
for anyone. But I'll think like, oh, Aunt so-and-so. And like, they're not sick. There's nothing wrong. And I'll be like, I wonder how they're doing, you know, because they were like a distant branch of the family, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'll look it up and be like, obituary. Great. Why was I thinking about you when you died like 2 days ago? It's weird.
So it's usually like within a short time frame, eh? It's not like weeks or months.
Yeah. And then there's like, I'll say like, you know, strange, like big $10 words that you don't usually say. So I'll have something like that come in my head, and then it'll come up on the TV a few seconds later, and it's more than a coincidence.
Oh, that's creepy.
So it's useless. It's useless. It does nothing for me.
Nothing at
No.
all. Could you ever
It makes me feel special, so I like to believe it's real, even if it's not. I'm going to choose to believe
Is a lot of it connected to deaths and sickness? Or are there other, like, could you predict pregnancies or?
Don't you always know when a girl is pregnant? Like, I don't know if that's a psychic thing. I feel like you can. I don't know. I've just been able to tell, but I think that's just because you can just tell.
Yeah. Well, I think once they're at a certain point, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, but if like I haven't seen the person and then it turns out they were dead, like that's different.
Yeah.
And no one has ever been out of sight, and I was like, they're probably pregnant. But like, remember when the shingles vaccine was new? And I was seeing it everywhere, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's weird. Why am I thinking about this all the time? And then my mom called me, and she goes, guess what I just got? And I said, shingles. It could be a coincidence, but it makes me feel special to think maybe I know things.
You might be a little psychic. Are you into like hippie woo-woo, witchy stuff?
I'm more on the rational side. Like I used to think it, and then we watched every ghost video on YouTube during the pandemic, like all of them.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not so much of a believer. Sometimes though.
Oh, interesting. That's fascinating to me. You like kind of have some psychic ability, but you don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, well, like it's George Carlin had that thing, like they're haunting you, like. You know, and like parents haunting their kids, and like, what if you didn't have any kids? Who are you going to haunt then? And like, it doesn't make any sense, really. And they're always white, the ghosts. Always.
Maybe not.
Yeah, and most of the ghost hunters are white. International ghost hunters are fun.
Ooh, international ones.
Oh, like they're a different flavor everywhere, ghost hunters.
Oh, that's
like all over the world. Like in North America, they're all nervous and they're like, I have goosebumps. Did you see my goosebumps? Oh, what was that? What was that over there? What was that? But then in, what is it? Why can I not think of it? Starts with an S. Syria, the place where they had the terrible war. They have people that go through buildings and they go ghost hunting, and they go in like praying and yelling at the ghost. You know, right. In China, they believe in yelling at the ghosts and also farting at them.
Oh my God, what?
Apparently, that is the way to ward off an evil spirit, is to have gas at them.
Really?
Yeah, international ghost videos, like hunting videos, are fun.
I need to look into that because I've only kind of gotten into the ones, I guess, in North America.
Nuke's Top 5 on YouTube has really good. Counts them down. You don't have to sit through the bullshit of them walking around and looking. And
oh my gosh.
Just the highlights only. And he puts a circle around it in case you didn't see it. You'd be like, oh, I'm looking at the green part. Okay, I kind of see the thing.
So I had my friend Kim Mosier, who's part of the TV show on Eastlink called Haunted, which is like a paranormal investigation show.
Okay.
And she's a big believer in ghosts. She has a bunch of equipment. She does investigations. She's very much on record saying orbs are bullshit. Like when you see orbs on camera, it's just dust, bitch. Like she's very honest about it. She
should write a book and the title should be "It's Just Dust, Bitch."
It's just dust. Yes, that was her unpopular opinion when she came on the show. She was like, "Orbs, bullshit." Because like every single video is like, "Look at the orbs, look at the orbs." And yeah, she's very against them. So
I guess I do believe it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's one of those weird things. Like I've never really had any experiences.
I yelled at a ghost on a ghost walk once because I was pretending like it wasn't a thing. Like they gave us a tour of the custom house in Hamilton where like tons of people have died. So really haunted. And they let us go off on our own and do little investigations. So Jay has my husband has the electronic gadget. Like
nice.
You know, he's not really doing much. And we're in this little room that they don't usually let people go in because it's too creepy for the regular tour. And it's called like the caretaker's room. And the caretaker was supposed to be this guy who was old and died there. So his stuff isn't working. And I've got like this little like necklace and it goes this way for yes and this way for no. And I was doing this and I was like, you probably don't even exist. And the thing broke off in my hand. Yeah. And then I ran away and left him to die at the hands of the ghost.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoopsie daisies.
I saved myself.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Okay, so you've useless psychic abilities, which I don't think that's what's wrong with you. I think that's a gift that you have to appreciate.
Or it's not real and I'm just messed. All my haters are like, she's messed.
You got death anxiety. You mentioned when we chatted before about your napping habit.
I do have a napping habit. I nap a lot. I like to nap too much. And I never know if it's because like something's wrong with me or I need a B12 shot or because it was just because I wanted a nap.
Do you sleep when you get stressed?
Oh yeah, big stress sleeper.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what'll fix this? Momentary unconsciousness.
That's a great
Let's have a mini coma. Let's just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go full shutdown when I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, nope, can't.
We're going to reboot this machine. But unfortunately, my reboots aren't like, people are like, oh, just take like a 10, 20-minute nap. It's like, no, like when I go out, it's like 2 to 3 hours and I'm done. And that's a useless thing.
And so, okay, what is your typical nap time that you have these random naps?
Like whenever I decide I want to have this but I don't have kids, and like I work on my business late into the night. Like I still put in like a 12-hour work day sometimes, even though I have this weird nap. So
you put the 12 hours in like scattered maybe through the day.
Like 10, like usually like somewhere between 8 to 10, 12 hours of work. And then like I always manage to fit a nap in somewhere.
You know what?
Plus also my dogs don't help.
Yeah. Oh,
because they see the rainbow blanket, which is like, okay, I already decided to nap, but then they see it and then they want to come and like one lays on me here and like one cuddles up here. And just so nice. How can I say no?
Can I ask, are you a bad sleeper? Like in the nighttime when people are supposed to sleep, do you actually sleep well? Or do you find that you're sleep deprived a lot?
As long as it's dark room and I have a sound machine on and the dog's not farting in my face, which she has been for the past 5 days, it's off-putting. I sleep fine.
Okay. And do you go to bed early? Like, do you go to bed at the same time every night? Like, do you have a bedtime?
No, because I do that ADHD thing where we stay up too late.
Oh,
do you do that one?
That one? Oh, yeah.
Because I get more things done at the,
What do they call it? It's like a very typical ADHD thing. It's
but
like
I don't want to give it up because I'm so productive.
The 9 or 10 p.m. like boost.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's like 9 p.m. Right?
Yeah. Why am I going to change that to try and be like neurotypical? Screw that. They're just jealous. They're just jealous because they need to go to bed at 10. You know? Jealousy.
What made you realize, what things did you put together in your life that made you realize you had ADHD? When were you like, oh, this is it?
When I saw like the list of traits for ADHD in women, it was just like, oh yeah. Okay, great, good. No, there we go. That explains the other half of me. Autism, got one half. The other half would be the ADHD. That is fun. That is a wonderful combination. Thank you.
It's a glorious cocktail.
No, it's not. But I'm trying to make it work.
When did those things happen for you? So you knew the autism thing more early, right? And then ADHD came later.
Yeah, ADHD was like last year, the year before, because I tried to go back to school and it was an unmanageable nightmare and I hated every single minute of it.
Oh my God.
So I didn't go back for the second year. I was like, no, I have to find a way to make my life work that isn't fitting me in somebody else's box. Like I'm a round peg. I don't fit in a square hole. So I'm gonna stop trying.
Yeah, exactly. Go find a round hole, right? Or make a round hole yourself.
That's what he said. That cheap joke.
Yeah. So you realize that's so, and the odd, I would love to actually talk about autism because this is something that I think a lot of people misunderstand. Because we were talking before about the glorious misperception that Netflix puts out to the world about autism through the lovely show Love on the Spectrum.
We didn't talk about that in the first half, did we?
No,
this was something that got cut off because the audio gods are mean. I hate
gods.
Love on the Spectrum. I hate that it is trending and that like so many people are probably, and I haven't watched it, which is bad because usually when I have an opinion, I will watch the whole thing and then I will go, okay, here's my opinion. But that it got me angry when I started watching it because it's like, oh, here's a damaged person. We'll match them up with another person we think is damaged when they're not. They're just different. And it's sort of like, oh, look at the cute autistic people.
Right? Yeah. And it's this weird, like,
not little monkeys.
This weird glamorized thing of people going, well, sometimes I feel weird, so maybe I'm autistic. And it's just like, that's not how that works. You know?
Many people who go like, well, everybody's on the spectrum. No, you're not. Does it affect your daily life? Are you having an issue with it? No.
Right.
You're not everybody's not a little bit autistic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry in the slightest.
But people love labels these days. They just they want to collect.
Gotta catch them all. They're the new Pokemon. They're the Pokemon and the Beyblades and the Pogs of the world now.
Pogs! Oh my God. Yeah, mental illnesses are like Pogs now for Gen Z.
Yeah. Want to have all the letters after your name. I think it's because like the internet makes everybody want to be individual, right? And have an identity. So the more different things you have,
right,
probably more individual you feel because like your identity is right now for a lot of people is what you put out to the world.
Right. Yeah.
But my stage persona is very different from who I actually am. So
do you find?
Yeah, I want the voice to be the same, but I mean like my ego's not, I really try hard not to connect my ego too badly to what I do up there so that I'm not crushed if something doesn't go well.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
So like there is a split between who I am up there and who I am in regular life.
How does autism affect stand-up?
It makes it difficult to hear what's going on and hear people's responses and be able to get in there with crowd work sometimes.
Like be present with it and like in the moment kind of thing.
Just because I don't notice people's emotions or what might be going on. So I have to learn things that mean that. Like it's not intrinsic to me where you might look at someone and understand what's happening. I have to learn the program of like, when you see this and this mixed with this and this, it's probably this.
Oh, interesting. And that's something you learn over time and through experiences.
So when I started doing crowd work, Joe helped me with like, first time I did the basement, he's like, don't step on your laughs. Because I guess I was doing that before. I would just go from joke to joke because I didn't realize you're supposed to pause. No one ever told me you're supposed to pause.
Right.
Things like that. Like,
yeah.
You don't tell the computer that the computer's supposed to pause. The computer doesn't pause.
Yeah, exactly.
Because my brain works like Linux and your brain works like Windows.
Yeah.
Or like Apple. Yeah.
Right. It's just taking things in a different way.
Yeah. So I had to learn to like look at people and we called it the sprinkler. So I would like look at this person, this person, this person. So I got used to looking at everybody. So I build in these little things. So it ends up being good in the end. Maybe it's better than for some other people because I can leave and go like, I'm not really sure what happened tonight. So maybe it doesn't hurt as much when it doesn't go well. I don't know. It's
actually a great point. Yeah. Like, because maybe you don't take it as personal.
No, I just want to dissect what happened.
Right.
I just want to hear, okay, that didn't work. If I know why it didn't work, I'm fine. I just want to know why.
Yeah. And comedy is such an energy suck. And I know that you had mentioned that you're someone like, especially with autism coming into play and ADHD coming into play, cherishing your energy and knowing when to like preserve that energy and stop. So I can't imagine like throwing stand up in the mix, the crashes you must feel sometimes in energy, you know, like because people even without autism feel that. So add that in and all that processing power.
Yeah, I just get
it must be tough. Yeah.
When I did the Just for Laughs showcase, like Sean Hogan drove us down because he was hosting. And after the night, everybody's standing around talking and they're all like waiting to like talk to maybe Zoe from Just for Laughs or whatever. And he's looking at me and he's like, you want to go back to the hotel, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm so burnt.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else will stay and like they want to socialize. And I'm like, brain is done.
Brain's done too much today. Yeah.
Brain has done too much today. And like when too much happens in a day, I'm at a risk of a meltdown. And like none of my colleagues need to see what that is. Like sometimes it's so bad. I just want to be I'll sit in the bathroom because it's a dark room and it's quiet just to be alone because my senses get so overwhelmed.
My God.
Yeah.
But you're good at this point at knowing when that's coming and doing it yourself, right? Like
Yeah, I don't let it happen around other people because other people aren't responsible for my mental health.
right.
You know, and like when people, even though it's like autism isn't, well, I guess it is a mental health issue, but you know, it's also just a different kind of brain, but like other people shouldn't be responsible for it. And then they look at you in a different way. And then you become a person that like, there's an additional thing they have to manage when they have you somewhere. So.
Right. Yeah. So you deal with it almost privately without
Yeah, I
people
put
really
my own
knowing.
limits so that nobody else has to deal with it. You know, like people will say, because I'm out in the country far from Charlottetown, like a half an hour, 40 minutes, you know, they'll say, can you come pick me up before a show? And then drive me to the show 2 hours away. And I'm like, nope, because that's going to add 2 hours to my trip if we count both ways. And nope, can't. I like you, but
Yeah.
I can't drive that much.
You have a battery that's,
Yeah.
the limit of that battery.
Yeah,
Some
the
people have
clockwork is going to wind down. And when it winds down, the springs pop out and it's not
good.
No. And sometimes like I get really cryy and like, cause I'm just overwhelmed.
Oh my God. Overwhelmed. I'm an overwhelmed sleeper and crier. For sure. Like all the times that I think that it's just sadness. It's not the same cry that like an overwhelmed cry would be, you know?
It's like mothers know their baby's cries, you know?
Yeah.
You have like the frustrated cry, the hungry cry. Sometimes I'm both.
Yeah. Oof.
Sometimes I'm stressed because I forgot to eat and then like it's both.
I just can't. Oh, well, that's also ADHD. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember to eat on time. I said that and my eye just started to twitch. That's how much it's been bothering me lately. Like it just like, yeah. Oh, body's giving me signs.
We have to make sure our basic needs are met, like before anything else. Truly, like if we're ever in a pissed off mood or agitated or cranky, like we have to go, okay, are we hungry? Are we tired? You know, are we like it's
managing a toddler.
You're literally, but that's what we are. We're big toddlers with responsibility.
I seem to be 41, but because of autism and ADHD, like I feel way younger than I am.
That's wild. So at what age did you put together the autism thing? How old were you when you?
Not good with numbers, but it was like around 35, 36. And then ADHD would have been like 39, 40, somewhere in there. So the rest of my life, I just thought I was an abject failure.
And then all of a sudden you had a couple of years of figuring things out or getting, well, maybe not so much figuring things out because we're always figuring things out. It never ends.
Yeah. It was those things like, you know, like, cause you have ADHD, you look at the list and it's like, okay, like someone could tell me this and it's helpful to have it on paper, but you also know.
Exactly. Right. Did you have people in your life going, I had so many people in my life going, you didn't know you had ADHD? I knew. I had so many people saying that to me.
I had a couple people doing that and on the reverse, and it irritates the crap out of me. People will go, well, you don't look autistic.
You don't what do you think it looks like?
Yeah, like, you think it looks like Love on the Spectrum where they picked and chose these different people and
they picked characters. You know, they picked an archetype of person that they wanted to put on those shows.
Yeah, which is not fair to us. It just did. Ugh.
No, not at all.
I say us like we're all one group. Like everybody's on, you know, varying bits of the spectrum and stuff, but and it's not like all one spectrum. It's like different, like the amount of time, like my sensory stuff is one spectrum and like my ability to communicate and understand people is another spectrum. So there's all these kind of different spectrums within it, like
right?
Little levels on like a mixing board.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a very good way to put it. Are there things like resources that like help you with coping or management, like things like that?
I didn't have to. I found a therapist who specialized in adult autism. And I was like, hey, so these are the things I'm having trouble with. And she explained all sorts of social things to me that I didn't understand.
There it is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I knew what to do in social situations because I had a complete lack of understanding of what I was looking at. I was putting pieces together and thinking I saw one thing when it was really another thing. So now I know sometimes like when people are being nice to your face, it doesn't mean they actually like you.
Yeah.
Those are key things to understand.
Yeah. Not taking things for face value.
Yeah. So now I'm better at knowing like I'm having a conversation with you and I actively know you don't want to have a conversation with me any more than I do with you.
Right.
So I can
The
see it a bit
cues.
more now. But
The
we're both like,
cues,
hey,
yeah.
hussy, that's great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can imagine that would be so helpful. And does she just focus on autism, or does she help you with kind of everything?
Yeah, she helped me with both because she's neurodivergent too. Like she has so my friend calls it neurospicy.
Neurospicy. We really are the best people.
Oh yeah.
I love I love that. Like just the idea of like
Well,
there's
divergent means like you're different than the norm, but neurospicy is just like, yeah, we're more fun. We're picante.
I picture it like a video game where you see like specs of like a character.
Yeah.
And it's like the more specs you have, like whether it's like all these things that you have, and then
it's like The Sims, and like you have like the goofy walk and like the best clothing options. And
I totally see it like that because truly, like, there's not one person. I mean, I guess there's a few, but like, it is really nice. I mean, say what we will about labels and how Gen Z are like kind of overdoing it, but like, it is nice to live in a time that people can figure this type of thing out about themselves and not feel shame about it. I think that that's the good side of it.
Yeah, because there's always like two ways to look. Like there's more than one thing is always true. Usually, not all the time, but like more than one thing is often true at the same time.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes people forget that.
Oh,
and they get very militant about like, I want to be on the right side of history and this is how I feel about this. And it's like, well, that issue has two sides.
Yeah. And then there's a middle ground too.
Yeah.
the whole gray area middle exists there too. People forget about that. So
yeah, they really do. God.
We have one more segment and then we're done.
I will miss you.
This is a really fun one. Hopefully won't get us in trouble, but I would love to know, do you have an unpopular opinion?
Don't hate me for this, but it's time for an unpopular opinion.
I don't know if it's unpopular. It probably is. I'm going to assume that it is. I haven't run it past the people that would think it's unpopular. I don't, and I'm sorry if you tell this joke because I still love you. But the brand of joke from female comedians that's who would ever want to do anything with anyone who has a penis anyways? A complete misandrist. Like, we want a space to tell all of our jokes where we can, feel good and we feel supported. But then the one person we're going to shit on is a straight white man. It makes me insane. And also, like, when I'm at a show, and they're like, well, who even wants to have sex with a man anymore? Me? Many people?
You know what? Okay. Hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble.
You don't have to say it. You can just lead me to say it.
I get what you're getting at. Like the sort of targeting certain I feel like if you're open-minded. Okay, how am I supposed to say this? Fuck. I'm like now really like nervous on my words.
So many comedians I know some of them who have that joke. And I love the rest of their set. And they're so funny. And there must be a reason that they're doing it. However, my unpopular opinion is I just don't like it.
Right.
Not that I think they shouldn't do it. Like, we should all be able to pretty much within reason, unless we're being awful, like say whatever we want. So like, go ahead and say it. I get kind of tired of it. Like it's like a call, at ladies' nights. Yeah. Or like it's 2022, who doesn't, want to sleep with a lady now?
Right. Yeah.
I'm married, so me.
It's not common anymore or cool to be straight anymore.
That's what it is. It's pointing out like because you don't have a letter or you're not like a thing and like you're not in the
So I totally agree with you on that because it's like you're not cool if you're straight kind of thing. Which is
it's like it's saying like I don't want the guys to talk about their dicks all night. And I don't want to. Okay, but you're talking about your vagina all night.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And those jokes are really funny. And I like them. And I'm laughing at them. But also, if he wants to talk about his dick for 5 minutes, his prerogative.
That's very true. Exactly.
Without
right.
him saying, why did he have to talk about his penis all the time?
Yeah, you kind of have to take that dirty stuff and almost make it like, I try to make it broader statements that aren't necessarily, that's more about people than sexes, if that makes any sense. Like humans as we're all fucked up humans kind of thing. Like I have jokes about being a love addict and like, I actually fucking love men more than anybody. But that also means that I hate them more than like, it's like these weird kind of nuances of being human.
And I've used it before too. Like I've gone up at the end of the night and totally said like, okay, this is the time in the night when the dick jokes have come to an end. I'm so sorry, where they put it, where they want to put it, where they dream of putting it. I used to say like, that's all over. It's done. Yeah. And then I would proceed to tell a bunch of dick jokes throughout my set, which was, it was part of the shtick. It was me saying like, we're not going to do this. And then
now we're doing that. Now we're doing that.
So I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, for sure. I have a ladies' night coming up actually, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to do more new stuff that's not so focused on that. But at the same time, like there are certain jokes that I just don't do on quote unquote regular shows or non-ladies' night shows.
That's fair too.
That I can't lean into as much as I can on a ladies' night, which I have fun with.
Yeah, see, that's the thing where both things are true about the ladies' night. Like one, it is really easy, but then two, like you can lean into things and learn things and work on bits that you couldn't work on other places.
Yes, you can work on stage presence. You can work on, you can work on those jokes kind of thing. I also think if it's fucking funny, it's funny. Like
well, unless you're a man listening to your set, like they're probably not going to think a lot of what you're saying is funny, especially if you're like, my vagina. I'm so sorry to break it to you.
It is. I actually don't have a lot. Well, actually, yeah, I do have a very main joke about it, just about pussy pictures. But that's a comment on like OnlyFans as a thing that I've done. And from what I've been told, you're supposed to milk every premise. And that's a premise that I'm milking to the fucking, like I'm milking that to the bone because it's one of the very few.
Milking something on OnlyFans might also make you money.
It's one of the very few unique things about me. Yeah, no, it's true. You're not wrong. Yeah, no, I actually like when people are honest about like not liking stuff like that because I think we're in this age of like hyper positivity and like encouragement. And it's like, I like people to be honest. I like that better, Yeah.
So. And not everyone has to agree with me. And I'm certainly not saying like anyone shouldn't do those jokes anymore.
Yeah. It's just not your thing. I
probably say things that other people don't like.
Right. Yeah.
That's fine.
It's a tough guy. And I think the main thing as a comic is you gotta, I think you mentioned this. You need to do the jokes that you like for you. Mm-hmm. Like you need to enjoy the material that you're doing kind of thing.
That was what I learned when I was in Halifax.
Yeah.
And I learned that off the ladies' night because I went in, it wasn't ladies' night. It was the really nice show at Hop Yard that Alva and Adrienne have. Oh yes. Funny Bunnies. Yeah. Couldn't remember off the cuff, but yeah, that really nice show that they have. Yeah. And I went in and I was doing all sorts of, jokes that I knew worked, but I was doing them. I don't know. They weren't the jokes I wanted to do. I was just like, well, those ones I know land and they're more like about sex. Yeah. And then when I went to Yucks, I went, oh, just freaking be yourself. Like why am I saying frickin' instead of fucking? I don't know why I went.
I like frickin'.
For the bronze instead of the gold there. But anyways, so I thought, why don't you just, tell the jokes that you want to tell?
Yeah. 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 Because
you're going to laugh either way.
And you're going to do them better because you like them more.
I always find that's more like my new material I like better in the older stuff. I'm like, I am sick of this.
Oh, yeah. And it sucks when you have to do the old stuff because it works. But that's the worst. Comedy is not as scary as people think it is, I think.
It is for that first while.
For that first while, yeah. It's
that first bomb. It's always seeing who comes back after the first bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are some newbies that are coming out to because they're trying more than one mic and more than one flavor. And they're coming in all like pretty and doe-eyed, And I love comedy because they've been to the ladies' nights. And then
isn't that so cute?
Yeah. Oh, they're adorable, and also it's annoying, but I like them. I'm like, you're too fresh, you're too happy. You have not been jaded yet, And I'm looking at them, going like, you're so happy right now. After you bomb the first time, I want to see how happy you are.
Right.
Because
After you
they're
start,
bringing their friends out, so their friends are of course laughing, and that's all fun. It's a great experience, but will you still like it after it hurts?
yes. Oh, that's a great quote, and that is the epitome of comedy right there, baby. Will you still like it after it hurts? That is going to thin out the herd.
Yeah,
Like,
it's sad sometimes to see who like gets rattled by it. I'm like, don't get rattled.
bitch, this is part of it.
Yeah, I've had to slink off a mic once before. Like at the very beginning, I started doing something. I was like, ooh, that did not come off right. I'm going to see myself away, And like when I did that bomb when Jim and Chris and whoever were here, yeah, I walked around the block like kicking the air for like 2 rounds around the block, going like, what the fuck?
Did ya?
What the fuck? Why? I wanted this to go better.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when you're trying to impress people too, or like.
No, and then to be professional, you have to sit there after you bomb, watching everybody else have a good night and just suck it up.
Oh, that's the worst. I've cried during those times before.
The best is at a corporate show where you eat it and then the guys like in suits walk around you like they don't see you while the headliner's up. And you're like, yeah, I know it didn't go well. And you wouldn't have really liked me anyways. I'm still a person. But like you have to sit there while everyone's milling around.
Yeah. Oh, that's never happened to me, but that would be very brutal. I think
that's why I've tried to remove my ego from the stage thing, because that way that doesn't hurt so much.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
There's a good quote from Mr. Robot that's remove all emotion and you'll be fine.
That's the autism thing, right? I can do the robot thing.
I feel like that's a great mindset to take before going on stage.
Exactly.
Remove all emotion.
Exactly. Remove all emotion.
I've just learned to laugh.
That is the mantra that you go with.
I've learned to laugh at myself on stage more.
That's important.
Like actually laugh. Actually like so as I'm saying jokes, and even if it's not working, just saying it with kind of a slight laugh in my voice, it actually makes it just feel more like I don't care, even though I kind of care a lot. But it's coming off like I don't kind of thing, which is important.
Because the jokes are the babies, and I get a little defensive of the babies. But
it's a crazy thing that we do. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah, we're insane. We're nuts. We're sick people.
Yeah, truly. We're sick as people, but then we're also sick in that we do this crazy thing. That a very
I don't think you have to be mentally ill to do comedy or anything. Like I'm not one of the people who's saying that, but I'm just saying like that. The stand-up part, that is the symptom and the sickness in itself. That's just the one. Because it must be crazy. Like, we must be crazy to be like, it only works sometimes, but I'm chasing the feeling. It's like an addiction.
Yeah, it is an addiction. That's very correct. It's like a drug. A drug
I'm addicted.
Yeah. It's very hard to turn down gigs, I'll say that. Me trying to, like, get balance and have a personal life again, still hard for me to say no to gigs.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want to.
I am, right? Yeah. Fucking hard. So we're gonna have to wrap because I have been told that my episodes are too long. From a bunch of people.
Right,
so we have get back. You get back on here. We're doing a formal goodbye, bitch. I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast twice.
Like you made it work.
Like you're a fucking trooper. I'm so happy that we got the full conversation now for the listeners, and that I got to talk to you twice. And I'm just happy to have met you as a friend and a colleague. So thank you so much for doing
nice. You were one of my favorite people to see when I was in Halifax. It was so nice to see you again. So thank you for having me on.
And you're coming back, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be back. Yeah.
You'll be back to us.
I have a husband and like 5 pets here. Like I'm not normal, so I need time away to come back and be normal. So
that's right. Yeah, you got to come back. And where can people follow you, stay up to date with you, what you're doing, shows? everything?
I'm Katherine Cairns. I've got like a formal business page on Facebook. You can also, if you're not too creepy, add me as a friend. But if you're going to say how hot I look all the time, no. And Instagram.
So you're going to say, if you're going to tell me how hot I look all the time, you can add me as a friend.
No, just don't creep me out. Like, don't like 7 of my photos at 3 a.m. and then like we'll be okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Don't do that. That's really creepy behavior.
Yeah, don't stalk me. Yeah, at Catnip Garden with a K, Catnip on Instagram.
On Instagram, follow Katherine. I adore you. Thank you again for doing this.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to pretend that you ring a bell. I'm going to ring it for you. Bring it in for Katherine. This is why I don't do remote interviews. They're fucking awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Intoxicated Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast app you use and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and check out our video episodes on the Intoxicated YouTube channel. Until next week, feel hard and talk hard. Intoxicated Podcast is hosted and produced by Sarah McClellan and brought to you by the messiness of life.